welcome to the Delta League podcast. I'm Mike A.D.
I'm JD.
Yeah, it's week number 5 of 21. Yeah, so the results speak for themselves. What we're going to do is we're just going to get right to the action because that's what we do here. We're going to start out on Monday, where we got Memphis is hosting Portland and Toronto, and in this one, Toronto wins this one. Toronto 37, Memphis 29, Portland 16. Now, for Toronto, Lyles Houston had 7 goals and Rex Pomodoro had 7 blocks. For Memphis, Carmelo McCall had 8 blocks, and Jack Charette also had 8 blocks. Toronto player Curly Barnabani has eloped to Europe to get married to his longtime girlfriend. Needless to say, he will be unavailable for the next week of action. Portland player Casey Snapper showed up on the court with a new mustache. Fans hate it. They said he looks like a pirate. He responded by saying, "At least I can grow a mustache, you expletive." Needless to say, he was harassed all game by the crowd for this one.
Considering the fact if he cut any shoulder, we'd have to have some words for him.
Yeah. Now, Portland player River Melcher broke his humerus bone in this one. That's 6 weeks in the shitter. And scratched player Husky D. Santo got involved in this one. Welcome to the dumb club. Now, as a result, in the end of this one, Toronto 4 points. Memphis, they got 2 points. They finally got out of 0. 2 points. Portland, nothing. Once again. Now, we can move on now to Wednesday, where we got Denver hosting Vancouver and Baltimore. And this one, Denver wins this one. Denver 25, Vancouver 16. They got 16 this time. Baltimore 15. For Denver, Larry McMaster had 7 goals. And for Baltimore, Oscar Zenga had 5 blocks in this one. Now, Vancouver player Kofi Dominguez has lost his brother. He had to fly back to Portugal to attend a funeral. He was, as a result, not available for this game. God frickin' speed. Now, Baltimore player Oscar Zenga got black carded in this one, mainly for overreacting to a hit by Gus Bartenza. And let's be honest here. The guy is huge, and he doesn't understand how bloody strong he is. He really took teammate Corey Vignali out. Really out. It was the cleanest, most picture-perfect hit car crash you can imagine. But Oscar Zenga thought... Oscar Zenga thought the opposite, and he definitely got on the court, and because stupidity loves company, Sky player Sarah V. Nolan gets on the court, both scratched. They tussle a bit, and in the end, the only one hurt is Corey's pride, because he was fucking rocked into next Sunday. So as a result, Denver gets the 4, Vancouver gets 2, and Baltimore once again gets bupkis. Now,
Speaking of rock to the next Sunday, Christ.
yeah, we'll talk about that one. Yeah, okay, now let's move on to the Saturday matinee, where we got Boston hosting Detroit and Salt Lake City. In this one, Detroit wins a very low-scoring game here. Detroit 17, Boston 12, Salt Lake City 3. For Detroit, Tommy Anastos had 7 blocks. And for SLC, Morse Cutter had 14 blocks. Now,
More blocks than shots? You want to explain that one?
yeah, exactly that one, exactly. Now, Boston player Jill Papp was late for practice. However, the team already had 3 players out. So, they were forced to use her in this game because it's typical to scratch a player who is late for practice. So they just fined her. Boston player Lord Matthew was also caught in a cryptocurrency scam. So, this guy is going to be history. Wait to the news section when you hear the details of this particular one. Now, crazy stuff abound in this match, just for the trips, shoves, dirty hits, and a wild incident where several players came crashing out of bounds and took out Detroit coach Zoltan Katz. He was taken to a nearby medical facility, but he's all right. Now, SLC players Ari Schwartz got yellow carded in this match. Boston's Dave Toro got yellow carded. Rock player Israel Roberts took out Eli Ercolani, and then Captain Eli Ercolani decides now's the time to begin the war. So we also got black carded in this match. Teams just getting on each other's bad side from the opening rumble here. Even suspended players got involved, including Brianne Gu takes out Don Kenworthy. His eardrum gets ruptured. This finally prompted suspended player Reggie Joe Agdev sent to the 7th Circle of Hell till week 19. Now, he makes an appearance, he gets involved, he gets black carded again. The results are still to come from this. Just a wild game in which players spent more time fighting than scoring, and the score reflected that. Now, so in the end of this one, Detroit ends up with the 4 points. Boston 2, Salt Lake City. Oh boy, they're the stinking shits. 0. Now, let's move on to Philadelphia. Philadelphia hosting Phoenix and Miami, and in this one, Philadelphia wins this game. Philadelphia 36, Phoenix 28, Miami also 28. Now, for Philadelphia, Bobby Joe Singh had 8 goals. For Phoenix, Ash Malik had 7 goals, and Jackson Truman had 12 blocks. For Miami, Maximus Brown and Mendoza Middleton had 6 goals each, and Kipper Grimmett had 7 blocks. Now, Miami players Maximus Brown and Joe Kirsch were yellow carded in this match. Phoenix also got involved in the chicanery, with Carlo Flamia getting yellow carded and suspended player Neil Laskin, who's essentially on the sidelines for anti-Semitism. He adds another black card to his growing portfolio. And we're not going to see this guy until Yom Kippur. Now, along with Philly players Dennis Herve and Hunter Casely, yellow carded in this match. After the game, Shred player Hunter Casely called out his team for lackadaisical defensive play and said that we were way too loose and gave the other teams way too much, and the game had no business being as close as it was. We were the superior team by far. Can't complain really about those complaints. In the end of this one, Philadelphia, they get the 4 points. Phoenix, dos. Miami, no, they don't even get dos. They tied. Phoenix gets 1. And then Miami gets 1 also. You don't want a tie at the end. You don't want that. Now, let's move on here to Montreal, who's hosting LA and New York. And in this one, holy shitballs, New York 84, Montreal 21, LA 6, baby. For New York, Ali Peters had 17 goals. Adolphe Messier had 14 goals. And Rock Weinstein, they have a guy named Adolf and a Weinstein on the same team, and he had 12 goals and 14 blocks in the same game. Crazy performance there. Montreal nor LA could muster very much in this one whatsoever. Now, LA captain Keith Ogilvie was yellow carded in this match, along with Marty Hagar in a dust-up. Clark Crepeau went crashing through the goal in spectacular crash and burn here, and that was worth the price of admission, period. Now, Then injured LA player Hibachi Pastorius, still nursing his sprained knee, gets involved. This one looked bad, and the results of this infraction are to come. Now, LA player Ben Breitbart has gone down with a hamstring strain. He'll also be out for 2 weeks. So, in the end of this one, New York gets the 4, Montreal 2, LA. God, nothing. Now, let's move on to Chicago. Chicago. Hosting Dallas and Atlanta in this one. Chicago wins this one. Chicago 22, Atlanta 11, Dallas 2.
It's progressively getting worse.
Oh my God. For Chicago, Fish Miller had 6 goals and Giacomo Trunk had 9 blocks. And there was very low attendance at this game, which was attributed to a very stormy weather system moving through, which included torrential rain and washed out road conditions. Injured player from Atlanta, Jamie Ekstrom, busted her finger while rehabbing her triceps. It's not an issue because broken fingers are quick recovery times. The real bitch is that the torn triceps will have her out until week 11. Now, Atlanta player Owen Tarmo, who's almost always in the news for a good reason, this week he gets yellow carded for wiping out Anatoly Schaefer, and this just precipitated a huge avalanche of consequences in this one. Dallas players Anatoly Schaefer gets pissed off. He shoves Tarmo, yellow card. Oh, and JZ Rude wants to know how a yellow card feels, so he gets one. For chastising the ref, that's an automatic yellow card. Now, Chicago player Clinton Black decides to get yellow carded by pulling off Schaefer's mask. This almost had the whole team on the court, but then Paul Marullo fractured his kneecap. And everyone got involved in this one, adding a black card to his lengthy recovery time. Dumb.
Very fucking dumb.
Just more cards than a casino in this one, and all of it was totally unnecessary, man. And after this game, Dallas player JZ Rude said he wanted to fight Atlanta player Braden Huff in a cage. He said, he gets on my nerves. I think he's a dirty player, and I'd like to settle our differences one-on-one. But League Commissioner Darcy DeMello immediately quashed this idea, stating, no way in this universe is this fight gonna happen. No frickin' way. And in the end of this one, Chicago picks up the 4, Atlanta gets 2 points in this one, and Dallas, nothing.
They kept up their attitude, they're gonna get -1.
Holy shit. Now,
Speaking of,
yeah, let's talk about something real crazy here. Let's move on to Las Vegas. They're hosting Seattle and Washington. And in this one, Seattle wins. Seattle 53, Washington 8. It gets worse. Las Vegas, big 0. That's like the second team in 3 weeks to score nothing.
what are we doing here? Were they even playing?
Holy shit. For Seattle, Boo McCarthy had 18 goals, and Rob Donoff had 6 blocks as Seattle put on a stifling performance, limiting the opposition to 8 goals total. This match was delayed because of a raucous Vegas fans. They pelted the anthem singer with hot dogs. I mean, they had absolutely nothing to cheer for. They should have saved the wieners for the players.
What do you expect?
Freaking brutal.
What do you expect? You're in the United States, and our performer somehow forgot the lyrics to their own national anthem.
Oh, man. Brutal. Washington player Angel Malloy got yellow carded in this one. Claude Verstappen was scratched, but for some reason got involved, collecting the first black card of his career. Jessica Eleniak and Neil Conlon got carded in this one. Good to see they're doing something, but that was definitely frustration spilling over. Washington was noted for their long goal celebrations, which was funny because they didn't score very many, but the ref didn't like it and gave a bench minor to the entire team. As a result, Angel Malloy collected her second yellow card and was booted from the match. Christ. And in this one, did either of these teams deserve any points? Seattle, 4. Washington escapes out of that. 8 goals. They get 2 points for this one. Vegas, double zero. Double freaking zero. Let's move on to the standings now. Now we got Seattle on top with 18. Chicago, Detroit, New York, Washington, 16 points each. Phoenix, 15. Denver, 14. Miami, Toronto, Philadelphia, 12 points each. Then we've got Vancouver and Montreal, 10 points each. Then Boston and Atlanta, 8 points each. Salt Lake City, 7 points. LA and Las Vegas with the same number of points, 6 points each. Then we got Portland, Dallas, Memphis, Baltimore, 2 points each. You see how fast it can get away with? It can just get away from you in Delta League. You have a bad couple weeks and you're finished. Finished, man. Let's move on to the scoring leaders after week number 5. Up at the top, Pooh McCarthy running away with this fucking thing. 71 points. Next guy, Marnie Johnstone, 33 points. LaQuisha Hershey, 32. Rock Weinstein, 31. Tommy Anastos, 30. Jojo Stokidis, Carlo Flamia, Ivan Goss, Hussein Cohen, 28 points each. Then we got Claude Verstappen, 27 points. Bobby Joe Singh and Elix Henderson, 25 points each. The offensive player of the week for the 3rd week in a row is Pooh McCarthy, 18 goals. Now, let's move on to the block leaders. Wow. Up at the top, Kofi Dominguez, 51 blocks. Jackson Truman, 41 blocks. Eli Ercolani, Moore Scudder, from the same team. At least they play defense. I just wish they would play offense. 37 blocks apiece. Frederick Giacalone, 34 blocks. Bart Spratt, Octavian Womack, 25 blocks. Rendell Kurzweil, 24 blocks. Gilbert Ratchev, 23 blocks. Janus Ulrich and Rock Weinstein, 22 blocks apiece. The defensive players of the week are Moore Scudder and Rock Weinstein, 14 blocks apiece. And on to the leaders in GXP rating. Up at the top, the new leader, Rock Weinstein, 682. Tommy Anastos, 570. Jackson Truman, 533. LaQuisha Hershey, 480. Bart Spratt, 450. Sebastiano Guarnieri, 378. Ash Malik, 360. Das Hawthorne, 357. Elix Henderson, 350. Rob Donoff, 342. Andy Alway, 340. Wilt Davola, 312. Now, shall we move on to the league news? Or shall we take a shot of the Nesty? Actually, you know what I need? I need that bottle of vodka over there. Over there, let's get that. Yeah, we need some of that right there, folks.
Holy shit, I don't drink, but it's
Well-
gonna make me start.
Well, no. The gavel came down on SLC player Reggie Joag Dev, who has been suspended for most of this season due to his actions this week. Commissioner Darcy DeMello has suspended him for life. Punishment has also come down on LA player Hibachi Pastorius, who went off like a psychopath this week. It's going to cost him 4 additional games. Darcy DeMello commented, "It's unfortunate a player with such potential has chosen to throw it away by acting so rashly. Now, Portland player Hunter Hotz was questioned by the police this week. Apparently, he was out for a late evening bike ride, and at the time, he fit the description of the Portland rapist. Good news is Hunter has an alibi. He was on the road when all the attacks occurred. Now, Montreal Maelstrom player Shami Lee Chavez has come out as gay this week. He's been inundated by a large number of hookup requests. It's very distracting, apparently. He thought he'd break out of the closet and clear the air once and for all. Now, Denver player Vince Howard is the latest player to have their sex tape exposed. He's the second Denver player to have this happen this year. Miami player Harmony Golan has opted for a new hairstyle. She's now bald. She said it has nothing to do with fashion or a cause of any kind. She likes the way that it looks. But some people have a lumpy head. Now, Detroit owner Maria Al-Saud says her team is not doing the Pride Night this year. She says the league should be happy. We're not living in a Muslim country because bad stuff happens to gays there. But this isn't political or religious. I had a very religious upbringing, and I saw what happens when faith and politics gets intermixed, and I want to keep political and social causes away from sports. Sports should be a distraction, not another opportunity for people to force their causes or beliefs on others. That's why we're not putting our logo next to any social cause or political candidate.
Honestly, fair. We should be playing the game. We shouldn't be caring about anything else.
That's it. I can't really complain about that at all. Very eloquent.
Has nothing to do with the sport, so keep it as it be.
There will be no mailbag this week because our email account has gone down. We're working with our internet service provider to get access, but until then, expect a supersized mailbag next week. Now, on to the Week 6 games and predictions. Now, we'll start on Monday, where Salt Lake City, looking for redemption in all the wrong places, against Chicago and Philadelphia. I mean, Chicago is playing the same way they played last year, even if they're down several players already. Salt Lake City has already walked on water twice this year, so this week they get crucified. It's time for Philly to wake the fuck up before they're in the middle three fighting for scraps. I want to take Chicago because this team is just too good, but that little demon on my shoulder says it's time for Philly to break out and cut these teams to pieces. Now, let's move on to Wednesday. We got New York, Seattle, and Boston. And Boston is going to be the victim of a tremendous amount of momentum the Pirates and the Fire Demons have at this moment. I'd love to see an upset here because I'm a fan of this New York team, but Seattle is top notch. And I'm riding this team into the sunset. Now, let's now move on to the Saturday matinee game where Dallas is hosting Phoenix and Atlanta. Now, Phoenix is winning this game. I don't think that's the question. The real conundrum is who is going to finish second. And I've been really happy with the improvement of this Atlanta team, even if it's occurring at a glacial pace. I'd be happy if Atlanta came out of here with 2 points.
Considering how Dallas played this week, probably will be.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, let's move on now to Baltimore, who's going to be hosting Portland and Toronto. And then here's another clash with a good team and 2 soup cans. I'll take the Towers. If anyone else comes out on top of this one, you should have just give the franchise back. Now, here's a cool drinking game. Take a shot Every time the opposition scores, you won't get drunk. Now, let's move on now to Detroit, who's hosting Las Vegas and Washington. And then here's a good match between two very consistent teams this year, and Vegas thrown in for extra measure. Now, last week Vegas scored 0. I don't think they figure in this game at all. Washington has been really good, and I'm going to take the Rock in a slight upset. Now, let's now move to Vancouver, who's hosting Montreal and Denver. And here's a game where you can guess which version of each team is going to show up to this game. When Vancouver is on their game, this team is pretty decent. When Denver is on their game, they blow mere mortals to Kingdom Come. Montreal can be extremely formidable. Granted, they can't seem to do it consistently. So this is going to be a high-scoring pissing contest, and the Orcas are going to get pissed on. Now, I'm taking Denver to score in bunches and escape with 4. Let's move on to the last one. We got LA hosting Memphis and Miami here. And this game is very intriguing. I mean, because Memphis and LA could be so much better. And Miami is finally playing like the kind of Delta that got them into the playoffs last year. And I think this is going to be close and violent because the Angels and the Pharaohs can't afford to slip any further behind the pack. I'm going to take LA because consistency is Miami's Achilles heel. Any comments?
Honestly, with LA, like the fact that they're the highest scoring, lowest scoring team, I can see a bit of improvement, but as history has told us, it might not ever be the case. We're gonna have to wait and see.
You have to wait and see till week number 6. Time moves quickly. And time has moved quickly upon us because that's it for the Delta League podcast for this week. Join us next week when the action undoubtedly will continue. See ya.